Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another 3DS Game Ideas video. And this time I'm going to be talking about a game series I like. I've only really played the first game like once, but I've played the second game extensively because I own the second one. That's a series called Gekido, which originated on the PS1. Sorry, I'm a little winded. Kind of been exercising a bit. Um, but that was on the PS1, and the second game came out on the Game Boy Advance. Um, you from the images that you can see, the first game, the PS1 game, it looks a little rough around the edges now. But when back in the day, these were cutting edge graphics. But yeah, I would like to see Gekido Urban Fighters, which that one was a multiplayer beat 'em up where you had a bunch of different modes that you could play through the game in, or you could play against other people, like with there was a four-player mode, so I'm pretty sure this game used a PlayStation multi-tap. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I don't know if you guys could hear my cat or not running back and forth with the bell, the bell making all the noise. But I only played it the one time because I ended up walking into a Funko Land, which it was before it got absorbed into Electronics Boutique, which became absorbed into GameStop and all that stuff. But they had it on display, and I played it, and I actually thought that the game was Fighting Force when I played it because I had seen Fighting Force before and it kind of looked similar, but I came to realize that it wasn't. So unfortunately for me, I never really actually got to play through the first game of Gekido. Um, from what I've read up on it, is it's got an interesting story, and like all of the characters that you can play with all have like these unique moves and stuff. Like it kind of makes me want to play it. So I'm thinking, like, this is a franchise that didn't really get much limelight, and not a whole lot of people knew about it. And it's like a perfect fit for what the 3DS is. The 3DS is. It's a very popular platform. It's cheap to develop for. It's easy for people to keep with them, and something like this, people would probably buy it on it because it'll be a cheaper price, especially if you get two games for the price of one, and you get the first game all over again, and like just do away with the current visuals and do like a cell shaded look, kind of make it look like I guess cell shaded or comic book esque, kind of like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us or any of the Telltale games outside of Minecraft Story Mode. Um, Give it that kind of aesthetic, it would do it would be an appreciated update for this game, and maybe smooth out the controls because what I remember of them, they were a little bit stiff. So maybe loosen them up a little bit, make them a little bit more fluid, and probably do. I don't remember if this game had voice work in it, and I haven't looked up any videos. But if it didn't, I would say do some voice work for it. Like it would be worth the effort. It doesn't have to be stellar voice work, but it definitely, as long as it's better than Shenmue on Dreamcast, things would be okay. Um, Gekido 2 or Gekido Advance, which was called Kentaro's Rage. No, Kentaro's Revenge. I always want to say Rage after that, but it's Revenge. Um, that game looked so pretty for a Game Boy Advance game. Like the animation was smooth. It ran pretty well. Um, Only thing I would say to do with that would be to update the controls, and and that's not really even a big thing to do because it's just more or less taking adding putting your jump buttons down to where your thumb is instead of where your shoulder buttons are. So that's really about it because you had a punch and a kick button, and the dude that you played with, Tetsuo, I think he was also in the first game, like if one of these screenshots. I don't know if that's the same character or not. He looks too different, but I think it might be. But yeah, you play with Tetsuo and like you're just like investigating like this weird town and all this shit. Like, and I kind of would like to see that redone. Like, I wouldn't want to change the visuals too much, but just update them a little bit. Just like update the visuals, give the game like a 60 frames per second frame rate because I think it only really I think it might have run at 60 on the Game Boy Advance. Now I think about it, because I've played it like 4 or 5 times and beaten it. So huh, I've got to look into that. I might have to throw it on my Game Boy player on my GameCube for a minute and just check it out and see if it has the 60 frames per second frame rate. I think it does though, but it's not even. It wouldn't really need that big of an update. It's just basically just taking the Game Boy Advance game and the PlayStation game. The PlayStation game is the one that would need all of the work because the PlayStation look is way outdated, and you would not want to put that or on anything current because everything that's out currently outshines the hell out of that. So it wouldn't make much sense to leave the visuals that way at all, unless you were gonna like smooth them out and kind of just leave it as a retro look. Which I think that would be okay as an option after you beat the game, like you beat the first one. And I would like to keep in the multiplayer mode, but make it so you only need like to have one copy of the game for 4 people to be able to play with or against each other. Like there's a lot of things that they could do with it and that will work out well for the 3DS. Um, and I was trying to think. I just mostly I just want these two games to be able to have a chance to flourish because again it wasn't really a popular series and it's not really a well known like and I personally would just like to see it have a continuation as I know that there was a third game planned and it was going to be coming out in the PSP for the series and it was canceled for what it looked like. I was like, this is a clone of Devil May Cry. I'm like, the character looked very Dante-esque. He carried the sword the same way, and I was like, this is Devil May Cry. I mean, it wouldn't. I don't think it would have been a bad game. But like, it's just it's not the same genre technically. Like, you could consider a hack and slash evolution of beat 'em ups, but it's still not the same thing. I don't consider Golden Axe a hack and slash. I consider it a beat 'em up because it plays exactly like a beat 'em up. I don't consider Knights of the Round or Dungeons and Dragons hack and slashes. I consider them beat 'em ups. Like, but again, that's something for a different video altogether. If I ever do that. I say go ahead, check out some videos on YouTube and see how the game plays. And just look at it and see. You could probably see where potentially what I'm seeing or what I'm thinking about when you look at it. Look up Gekido Urban Fighters and Gekido Advance. Those are the two games. But that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games and